The fact that some people out there like AI therapists, great. If it actually helps you do a thing or feel better, awesome. I'm sure that AI therapists might actually reduce the suicide rate dramatically. Now let's go to superintelligence. There's lots of people peddling this stuff. Max Tegmark, and Elon, right? And they don't know what they're talking about. It's really funny. It's like, it's just, what do you mean superintelligence? Now, if you mean it's going to be faster than me, sure, I buy that. I'll buy that AI, but that's not super intelligent. What they're trying to say is these systems will have access to reasoning and magic that you don't have. I'm like, no, define the magic. And I think that human beings have shown that they are very good universal explainers. This is one thing where I agree with David Deutsch's philosophy and the mathematicians so far, that although there are things that are really hard to explain, humans are pretty damn good at solving problems and building technologies to get around that problem. Nick Bostrom's Superintelligence book was a great book, but had lots of flaws. It's nonsense.
What are some of the flaws there?
Well, he says we will have a superintelligence. Like, okay, define it, explain how it works, give me the mechanism. Again, anti-gravity. Oh, I'm floating. We shouldn't be scared. We should basically have a commission on anti-gravity tomorrow. We should worry about it. Come on, Yud. Come on, Nick.
Yeah.
No. So unless they can explain a proper concrete mechanism, I could worry about lots of things, right? I could worry about, when I'm going to get cancer and die, if I'm going to get heart failure, when an asteroid can hit the world, where I'm going to get caught in a storm or whatever, right? So these are things I have to worry about. All I need to do is put them in some type of order and think and use my resources accordingly. People making stuff up like this to control resources is what's happening. And of course...
So you think all the doomers, all the really smart people, including people you're mentioning who in some cases are billionaires or brilliant minds within academia, who are all on a similar page of like, this could surpass us, become sentient, and fuck us over. You think that it is all related back to knowingly for some of them, and then even unknowingly for maybe some of the others who go along with it, that it's going to be a use to generate fear to control society?
Well, I think that... they're not doing it in a malevolent way. It's just a way, right? They're trying to get clicks, get following, get people scared, get people excited, get people fearful. Buy my product. Like it's just like the same thing again and again and again. AI is a fantastic technology. What I worry about with AI is, number one, authenticated data. I want real data from the universe, not made up data. Because otherwise, would it just go to shit really quickly?
Meaning theories.
Because people are generating synthetic data, and it's not real data. And this is kind of like, this is scary, because if you're just generating synthetic data, you're not getting any creativity. Creativity comes from real data in the environment. That's another point. Second point is authenticated users. I want real people. Right? I'm not one of these people who wants to talk to an AI and be bullshitted by some kind of random thing. I want to talk to real people. I'm sorry. The fact that some people out there like AI therapists, great. If it actually helps you do a thing or feel better, awesome. I'm sure that AI therapists might actually reduce the suicide rate dramatically. Wouldn't it be a wonderful thing if that happened?
Sure.
So I'm not saying that they're all talking nonsense. What I'm saying is, why are you making stuff up about doom or the fact that AI is going to solve everything? AI is a way of taking data and compressing that data into a high-dimensional space and getting out connections from that data. That's what humans do, right? That's what human intelligence does through the act of survival, right?
But it does it on its own.
It does it on its own. And so
you don't have a fear that could...
I don't see the mechanism for it. If I am successful in my life's work to understand the origin of life and create a new life form, why stop there? Why not create a life form that's also conscious? That would be great. But then people would be scared, because what about that consciousness? That if I created a life form that was conscious, like an alien, and it wanted resources, of course it would fight us for the resource, and then we should be scared. Yeah. And we should go, are you sure you want to do that?
But you're saying AI can't become that alien?
No, because AI is connected to us through Luca and our technology. But AI could, with us, do bad things. AI and humans together AI with humans together can do bad things,
Okay.
right?
Can we go back to the original point we tabled on the front end of this, which was when I brought up human beings being considered a computer versus AI,
Mm-hmm.
and you said you have evidence that we're not. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so there is this really interesting problem that we have right now in that, and so what I'm going to say is controversial, probably a bit wrong, probably a lot wrong, but if it's not, it's quite interesting. Let's put it that way.
You've never said anything controversial before, so this is very off-brand.
So, and what I mean by that is like, so people are making metaphor between how the brain works, how the brain has done its thing over billions of years. Because we don't know, how instinct works, right? Very well. Instinct is evolved. It gets unpacked mechanically. If you think about it, you think about the zygote, right? When you were a single fertilized cell, and you divided into 2 and then into 4, and you kept going. Suddenly, so you've got in that cell, you've got all this genetic information, and you have feedback from the environment in the womb where the cell is implanted, and you get signals. And those signals in the environment, the mechanical feedback, helped you with the genes produce your arms and your legs, your kidneys and everything. So you have this interaction in time that unfolds. So genes don't just provide information. They kind of provide coordinates where you should roll the stone down the hill so it bounces in the right trajectory to get the thing happening. So there's all this other stuff going on, right? And so that's really interesting about how biology works, and how we can kind of get really complicated entities coming together. Mm-hmm. So how we then start to think about, how life kind of turns into intelligence. We've got to make sure that causal chain is all connected together, right? And so I think that we have to keep understanding that. So I guess that's one of the starting points, right? Now how the brain works. We know that neurons have we know about a lot about neurophysiology. We know about firing neurons. We know there's an action potential, and we know that that there seems to be some connection between how our neurons fire and learn and make connections, and we think that we can perhaps simulate that. Let's say that's a given. So I'm going to give you 2 or 3 different alternatives, and they're all going to be interesting. The first one is like, let's just assume that the brain doesn't work the way we think it is with firing neurons 1 and 0, that there are network effects, and there's kind of the brain is like an analog entity with some error correction, some digital error correction, right? And that's kind of one way of looking at it. Let's assume the brain is how everyone's projecting right now, like like the way we see neural networks on computers, where we can simulate them with 1s and 0s. And then there's another way that the brain is doing something magical that we don't understand, right? There's quantum phenomena and so on.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.